I'd like to welcome you to POWERinU's complimentary webinar this evening. It's entitled How to Rebound and Reimagine Your Business. Let me now introduce our speaker. He's a scholar from the University of the Philippines, where he finished his Bachelor of Arts in Political Science. He has over 2 decades of experience as a high-performing business executive, having led both mature and startup organizations in the technology space. He served in various capacities across sales, business development, channels, services, and consulting. This has given him a full understanding of the organizational value chain and business best practices that he gained from working with local and multinational companies in telecommunications, finance, and technology. He also led culturally diverse teams based in Asia, the US, and parts of Europe, Middle East, and Africa, also known as EMEA. His general management experience includes a significant number of years working with well-respected organizations such as Oracle, Emerson Network Power, and Hewlett-Packard Enterprise. His last corporate role was as Managing Director and Country General Manager of Microsoft Philippines. He's currently the President and Chief Executive Officer of Asia Select Incorporated. Everyone, let us all welcome our speaker for this evening, Mr. Hans Bayaborda. Hans?
Thank you, Benji. Good evening to everyone. I'd like to greet everyone, the professionals, students, and teachers who are attending now. Good evening. Hopefully, everyone is well and safe in their homes. Yes, how to rebound and reimagine your business. I think it's very timely and very important topic after almost 7 months of being in quarantine and at the same time limited movement. So let me start my slide. I think the transformation happening right now in a lot of businesses or industries is very relevant. Next slide, please. We saw a lot of the transformation happening in the past months. And COVID-19 has really forced our customers to accelerate the transformation in a way we hadn't seen before. I think right now, the COVID-19 is accelerating pre-COVID-19 projects that were happening at a slower pace. We don't see transformation strategies really changing, but at the same time, acceleration in terms of execution. If we'll see in this slide, we're in pre-COVID-19 forces that are driving change. We're change end user expectations. We're trying to look at our customers or gaining more customers. Threat of disruption and disintermediation, making sure that we are a stronghold within our businesses. We are transforming our legacy systems in terms of our data center, our servers, our storage, and networking. We're also trying to look at changing business models to make sure that we are able to compete in our industry, and the continuing review of regulatory environment where new laws are being passed that will disrupt our business, and also making sure that our systems are secure and there's will be no fraud and cybercrime. So actually, all of this are being already discussed pre-COVID, and actually what we're looking right now is to fast tracking all of this. I think it's very important to discuss what the new normal of work will look like post-COVID-19 pandemic. First, new management skills will be essential enablers of change. I think leadership will take a very significant role for a lot of organizations. Culture will grow in importance. New ways of embedding it, new purpose, how we will be able to drive our employees. Adoption of key technologies will definitely increase. Remote work will become more prevalent, or the flexible work arrangement. will definitely be one of the key discussion within the organization. Continuous learning will become increasingly vital. Given the adoption of new technologies, retooling and reskilling and upskilling of each employee will be key for organization to maintain their businesses. And lastly, companies will try to keep some of the efficiencies from the crisis. There will be, as mentioned, pre-COVID-19, there were a lot of things that already being done, and definitely those efficiencies, maybe cost, processes, will definitely come along. Thinking about impacting the digital business model is very important. I think we see a lot of businesses right now, either they're looking at business as usual, or there'll be some digital replacement in terms of their digital capabilities, or they're trying to digitize existing processes to reduce waste of time, effort, and expense, as well as employee rationalization. Also, very important is looking at redesigning and digitizing your process to fully reach desired outcome, may it be in sales, in cost accounting, or even in areas in your supply chain. But new ways to create value with a digital business, I think, is very important right now, as leaders will take a look at how it will impact their business over time. As we see in this slide, the business model innovation and digital effectiveness are key in terms of creating value to your business over a period of time. Becoming a digital first organization will definitely be a challenge for a lot of organizations. But the real prize is becoming a digital first organization, one which technology and culture are interconnected to enable a greater level of agility. Achieving this goal will require leaders to step back and reimagine the business, how it operates. Especially right now, I think there's a lot of difference in terms of how organization operates when before the pandemic and during the pandemic, and as we survive this pandemic. They will have to champion digital technologies and mindsets while leading with empathy and purpose. To start with, executives must take stock of their company's starting point, the progress they made through the crisis, and the gaps that remain. They can focus on building technical skills where it's needed, in parallel with embedding a digital mindset. By now, after almost 7 months, I think organization will be able to see how they have improved or they have repurposed their processes, and look at the gaps in terms of where they want to move forward. Leaders must assess the current state of their organization's digital dexterity to determine their progress, identifying new capabilities, and develop a plan to build additional skills and address the gaps. This process will also involve deciding which new ways of working should be retained and which need to be adjusted further or reimagined. Competencies include not only the use of digital technologies, but to engage and collaborate with remote teams, given that I think less than 50% are definitely working from home, or more than 50% are working from home, and less than 50% are those really going to the offices. Mindsets, of course, are the attitudes that enable employees to embrace change and remain open to new ideas and new ways of working. I think that's very critical in terms of how you'll be able to remain open and to open to new ideas in terms of how you will be able to work. So we focus on the first two that I've mentioned a while ago regarding management skills and culture. This change begins at the top. Leaders must start by looking at the company's mission and long-term purpose, thinking carefully about how they align their strategy and whether they're truly centered around customer needs. Make sure that you have line executive champions and sustain your case for the case for action. The champions must be visible in action. Those that have initiative is given priority, resources and funding are made available, and the executive support for reinforcement of value. We always talk about culture and our mission-driven purpose all the time. The strategy is going to evolve, but culture and purpose, we hope, is long-standing. I think right now that's very important. Employees to see the purpose of how the business will go, the direction that our leaders will be given to them, and understand how their work will transform through this initiative. So as we talk about leadership, we talk about a few traits among leaders as tech-enabled and relatively high-performing companies to take full advantage of this digital opportunity. Empathy. I think this is very relevant as an immediate response to the pandemic, given that the increased anxiety about the well-being of each and everyone, even immediate and extended families. I think the most effective leaders balance a steadiness and resolve with genuine concern for and understanding what their colleagues are experiencing. Maintaining regular contact with employees beyond the C-suite and understanding their thoughts and concerns will be even more crucial in this post-COVID-19 future. As I mentioned, purpose can stabilize and inspire employees. Before the pandemic, I think one of the greatest barriers of establishing a thriving digital culture was defining a clear business rationale for why employees should embrace both technologies and new ways of working. Connecting employees to the company's broader purpose can reinforce the mindset that their own efforts supporting digital transformation contribute to the organization's long-term ability to fulfill its purpose. I think the best leaders will focus on new ways to model and to communicate the values and purpose of the organization. Third, I think digital leadership also will need driving reimagination. I think leaders must ensure that they inspire, they motivate, and mobilize people in the middle of the organization to participate in the reimagination of their business. Communication is a common thread across these three traits, but it must take on a new and different forms with the remote workforce. For example, weekly emails could quickly get lost in a lot of competing priorities, and company-wide video calls won't have the same impact or immediately as in person-to-person meeting. So the challenge for executives is to find ways to vary their outreach, ensuring there's broader communication, inspiring, fun, and at the same time, we'll be able to focus on certain areas that's very significant to their business. Leaders should celebrate wins and be able to connect with employees in terms of hard-won business case success. Championing continuous large and small-scale innovation, driving small groups discussion based on reimagination is an important characteristic of a digital-first company. So as we move forward to this journey, I think it's very important for leaders to be able to navigate for now and be able to prepare to rebound their business or plan the comeback and be able to reimagine clients' business to leverage insights. How we'll be able to make sure that the customer needs are still being met and realize business efficiencies to succeed in a marketplace that will be permanently altered. So if we do have that kind of attitude and mindset, it's also very important that we should be able to show up with our customers, because we really wanted to change from just showing up and saying, here's what we have, but to really understanding your business problems and seeking to understand first and then presenting the solutions. That learn it all versus the know it all is very important right now, as mentioned, in being able to project your solutions and at the same time understanding your clients' needs. So I think having that learn it all versus know it all It's very important to face all challenges, be open to new ways of thinking. So growth mindset is very important versus a fixed mindset. I think we should be open to how we'll be able to do things, persist in the face of setbacks, see failure as an essential to master what you're doing. I think as they say, fail fast and recover as soon as possible. Continue to learn from criticism because we're in a new platform, we're in a new situation, and find lessons and inspiration in the success of others. So what are the things that I think we should be able to drive more collaboration and new ways of thinking within the organization? We have to listen to customer experience. We have to listen to the demands of some of our employees to be better equipped to deliver on their commitments. Connected employees are empowered employees. And digital transformation is about enabling your workers to interact and communicate with internal groupings, with customers, with suppliers and partners, and to be effective in terms of how you'll be able to communicate and collaborate. Providing the necessary tools or the digital tools, mobile devices, apps, that can support employee productivity and collaboration while mitigating the risks that come with providing freedom and space to employees. And digital transformation is also about providing more positive, effective services when workers collaborate more efficiently. You share critical information quickly, so you'll be able to decide quickly and meet customers' challenges and issues. And also, for example, and be able to meet security and privacy regulations. Becoming a true digital transformation organization is not just about becoming tech savvy. It is embracing a new culture, new ways of doing things, new ways of working, new culture and mindset where hierarchy fades and innovation happens through networks or small group discussion or small group project-based within the internal organization. The organization as a whole needs to understand how their work will transform through this initiative and receive training, retooling, and support to adjust to the new ways of working. Building a digital culture remotely, from the leadership and then going to the digital culture remotely, is also key in our business right now, in any other business. Every company is struggling with how to maintain their organization's culture and turn it to a more digital direction without the benefits of physical interactions. To set the pace, leaders should focus on 3 priorities. Reinventing ways of working. The shift to remote work is more than just using digital technologies to carry on with the existing processes. It provides a unique opportunity to rethink everything from meeting cadence to team structure to the tools needed to be a digital-first organization. Rather than structuring processes to conform to digital tools, companies should reconceive team interaction based on what they learned during this disruption, and then draw from that available digital technologies to enable new ways of working. How to execute employee engagement, how you'll be able to make sure that your employees will be able to attend simple meeting or fun games or town hall meetings and even group meetings. So there should be a lot of interaction, but how you'll be able to pick a certain technology to be able to collaborate is very important. Translating co-creation and collaboration to remote work. An ecosystem of oriented mindset is crucial to digital acceleration. So organizations must pay special attention to implementing new approaches to creativity and collaboration, both within and outside the organization. For example, translating brainstorming and whiteboard sessions, a staple of in-person problem solving, to a virtual environment will require experimentation and the full engagement of teams to establish a productive digital approach. That's why I think most probably others may fail initially, but But experimentation right now is very important to see if this kind of technology or this kind of remote work collaboration will work within your organization. And of course, fostering diversity and inclusion. Not only be able to include who are, of course, there's a lot of employees also are doing certain things or within their houses. So workforce of digital haves and have-nots could increase existing divides. So companies have an opportunity to use new collaboration tools to create a sense of community and ensure all voices are heard. Successful leaders will make diversity and inclusion an integral part of their digital transformation efforts to continue to focus on connecting team members. As mentioned, connected employees are empowered employees and be able to create these values to new ideas and innovation. So as we discuss leadership and culture, the next, I think, very important is also adoption of key technologies will definitely increase. And what are those essential technology that we should be able to work on? And remote work will become more prevalent. So how will this also take advantage of the situation? So enabling a remote workforce it's not really a trivial challenge in the best of times. And especially can be daunting when rolling out during this kind of crisis. So we're facing a couple of challenges simultaneously. First, we have to ensure our people can be productive while working remotely. That includes making sure they have the right tools. We may need to get people new devices or enable use of personal devices. Next, we are also experiencing serious spikes in remote app access, putting a lot of pressure on our virtual private network scalability. And of course, bad actors are looking to take advantage of this crisis. Or security. We're seeing increases in cybersecurity threats exploiting this kind of situation. So another key aspect of digital transformation is we call tech intensity. Companies should adopt the latest or most effective tools, not just technology for its own sake, but as platform for building their own digital capabilities and creating their own technology innovations. That's a key differentiation for a lot of organization and long-term success. In the process, we should exert an effort to become technology companies that continually develop innovative solutions that enable their team members or their employees to generate new opportunities to drive growth and profitability for the organization. So, accelerate join to the new normal. What are the remote work essentials? How do we, make sure that we enable remote access, manage devices and apps, and protect corporate resources? Next slide, please. So, in terms of accelerate remote work essentials, I think the takeaway here is that we should be able to provide the key points to successfully enabling remote access to apps. A strong IT team should be considered. An experienced technology person is needed in your organization. The core team driving transformation should have a future-thinking members who see this as a growth opportunity and are rewarded for helping drive the change. One of first steps in building security foundation for your remote workforce will be to ensure all users have secure access to their applications. It's for critical productivity. Users have to secure access to all of their applications, their software as a service, their installed apps, on-prem apps, and also the experience as seamless wherever users are logging in from. Because I think sometimes some of employees are maybe in the provinces or not in Metro Manila, so it's very important to have this kind of seamless use of apps. And be able to use the ease of application access and collaboration within those apps across your workforce. So what are the remote work essentials? First, I think is to allow your employees to access a standard user profile using their personal device or what's given by the companies, and provide secure access to corporate applications, a virtual desktop. A phone system deployment, be able to make and receive calls through VoIP. Examples are MS Teams, Facebook video, Zoom, WhatsApp. Document approval and signing digitization, approving and signing documents anywhere using any device. Have visibility on the approver signatories for faster turnaround. Sample of this are DocuSign, HelloSign, and Sign Server. Document management and sharing. Securely access, save, share, and co-author your documents without the need to meet on a daily basis or every hour. You have to restore previous versions and check who has accessed your documents through audit trail, usually SharePoint online or Google Drive or MS OneDrive. So you're able to share and collaborate better with your internal team. Live events, town halls, and remote training. So broadcast video and meeting content to large online audiences. Use video streaming to provide announcements, trainings, live events. So the use of Zoom, Cisco WebEx, and MS Teams or MS365 is key to this. Online meetings. You hold online meetings wherever the user is. Be able to share and co-author documents, collaborate with internal users and partners, your suppliers, your vendors, and be able and anywhere in the Philippines. So either it's via again Salesforce Chatter, WebEx Teams, or MS Teams, or Slack. So those are very important collaboration online meetings. Digital stores and e-commerce. Keep your store operations business as usual by being able to address your customers' needs online. If you're not able to set up your own website or you don't have, payments online, be able to make sure that you're able to, have digital stores and e-commerce be able to see your products. Keep the safety of your employees by providing them tools to work without the need to go on site. So how you'll be able to manage devices and apps. I think the key takeaway is to provide the key points for successfully managing devices and apps. The rapid transition to remote work during this crisis gave us little time to contemplate the best approach to manage all of these devices remotely accessing apps. So we are learning that many workers may be using a mix of corporate and personal devices, creating additional pressure to how to manage all of the devices. We're also hearing that organizations are struggling to remotely provision and deploy new devices. So we want to make it easier to streamline that process. All of this needs to be easy to secure and manage across the entire life cycle. Proactively manage updates, patching, and policies anytime and anywhere. Be able to make sure that you establish your help desk and security vulnerabilities by keeping your devices patch version up to date. And provide remote workers with access to virtual desktops. At the same time, access internal applications without the need to use VPN. So I think very important, as I mentioned a while ago, having a strong IT team, a strong technology person that be able to make sure that you proactively manage updates and policies every now and then. At the same time, we should be able to protect corporate resources. Protecting your corporate resources in this circumstance means protecting your data, your applications, and endpoints against attacks. With nearly everyone working remotely at this point, our surface area for protecting all of the corporate resources just got more complicated. Protecting your data, your applications, and endpoints against threats and security risks is paramount. So we want to make sure that we highlight how you can use built-in security capabilities to keep your people productive while ensuring your data are all safe. At the same time, I think, as mentioned, remote work will be prevalent, and at the same time, most probably a lot will be needed in terms of how you'll be able to hire new employees. So hiring during COVID is also very important. If your company is hiring, the process may look different now from what you used to, with in-person interviews or conversations needing to shift to video chat. So you also need to adapt your recruiting practices to keep your pipeline full. You have to make sure that your many qualified candidates that were looking for jobs before the pandemic may assume that most companies are not hiring during this crisis. So you have to make it well known that your company is also actively seeking new employees. Make sure all of your current job postings are listed on your company's website, and call attention to your open positions on social media. Have a detailed employee recruitment procedure, given that there's a new process also right now. Hiring completely remotely will be a different experience from hiring in person. Even your onboarding session will be, you should be able, I think HR should be prepared in terms of how you're able to do this online. And also responsibility to the company and to potential employees to make sure you have the process that will work. Be realistic in your offer. If you think that the circumstances will change after the crisis has passed, such as the employee shifting to in-office work, or you'll be able to remotely, or at the same time be able to go back to office. So you should be able to be clear, given whether this position is permanent or temporary. Ensure that the new hire and the company are on the same page. Things are different now and will be different after the crisis. So company leaders must have a clear plan. Prioritize remote working skills. I think right now, in terms of recruitment, having a good internet access and good Wi-Fi coverage at home, conducive to homework environment are critical in hiring. Even those that will need minimal supervision and self-motivation or self-management is very important in terms of hiring right now. And this is effective communication, organization, and self-direction are useful skills for remote work. So I guess in terms of hiring, if we will have this pandemic in more than a year, then definitely you should be able to consider those kind of roles or those kind of skill set for new hires. Maximizing the workforce. Very important as well, that like project-based roles, workers in many roles across many industries had to drop what they've been doing and take on work that they never tackled before. Companies can both anticipate and expedite this shift by developing an internal mobility platform. Some companies have already set up internal marketplaces that break down work into tasks and projects, especially for other industries that are definitely just needing project-based roles that will need maybe 3 months or 6 months, and a blended group of full-time workers and freelancers and contractors and even consultants who can work anywhere, anytime on projects of variable length. So this kind of model is, I think, has also accelerated at this point of time. In terms of maintaining your talent, it's also important to have internal career coaches. Companies are urged to develop coaches who work with teams, so to see what opportunities await them and to ensure that they continue to develop in-demand skills. Internal career coaches assigned to teams will be a win for everyone. Companies, it will allow them to attract and retain talent, fill the skills gaps, and to increase agility by deploying proven, work-ready teams projects that are most critical. For employees, it will keep their skills and their focus fresh and ensure that they are attaching to projects that are meaningful. And I think very important, as we've discussed earlier slides, in building a digital culture within the organization is to hire digital natives. A technology team can uniquely contribute to the transformation of the organization by introducing the art of possible using technology. And this is very important for, I think right now we will see a lot of information technology or financial technology companies that are hiring because of the need of the digital natives. So The next two that we want to discuss is the continuous learning and making sure that companies will be able to keep some efficiencies from the crisis. So many people ask about digital transformation. I say it's not about digital. It's about people. It's about the mindset. It's about culture. It's about values. And when you get that right, technology becomes a true enabler, because of most of what needs to be done using technologies is not just about the knowledge of technology, but how the technology can add value to society, to your organization, and how the technology can be a real business case. By upskilling, we mean giving our employees opportunities to gain the knowledge, tools, and ability they need to advance the ever-changing technologies in the marketplace or in the workplace. It is an opportunity, given the pandemic and the work from home situation, for training to scale the programs built for how employees actually learn best. Be able to do remote boot camps, self-serve modules, in-house training, simulations, collaborative learning environment, and even certification programs. So leaders should be able to make sure that there will be continuous learning within the organization. And the four pillars of digital transformation, if you'll be able to empower your employees, is to continue to engage with customers, to optimize operations, and transform your services and products. So for leaders as well, in terms of how to make decisions, it's very important right now that executive decision-making in the time of COVID-19. Leaders should adopt a decision framework incorporating three equally important sets of criteria. I think right now, before we also look at all the traditional business value in terms of how we will make decision. But given the crisis and disruption, we should be able to also see how to protect the health and safety of our employees, customers, and community. Social and emotional, to protect the emotional health of the community, and deliver on the enterprise value system in a manner that reflects current societal priorities. So these three sets of criteria in decision framework are equally important because they represent the trade-offs that all executives and leaders making throughout the pandemic, where social and crisis decision-making are playing an amplified role. For the purpose of this framework, consider traditional crisis social criteria as having equal weighting in a decision. It's like 33% for each. But before, the traditional business value, we only look at how to protect the financial health and business of our enterprise. But now we see that there are a lot of factors to make sure that effective decision-making is key in the time of COVID-19. So effective executive decision frameworks also include a set of criteria that resemble business cases. Each and every time the executive takes on a new decision of any significance, start by discussing which business criteria matters most for the decision. Recognize that financial priorities will have to shift and may have to shift publicly. For example, you may be paying, for your listed companies, paying dividends may have less importance through the end of 2020, while risk becomes the greater daily and public priority. Then leaders will be able to work together as a team to determine which option best fulfills the traditional financial and risk criteria. The traditional framework, such as the above or in this slide, which focus on revenue, which is a mission for public sector and nonprofit, cost and risk, are highly critical, but insufficient in the current context. So non-traditional crisis criteria are the next most important to consider. So to help deal with the extended crisis that we are all dealing now, executive leaders must consistently include criteria in their decision frameworks that focus on maximizing the core competencies of the enterprise to make sure that there's resiliency in their organization. This slide illustrates how the criteria for decision-making success changes during times of active pandemic and potential crisis. While the traditional criteria on the left are more than sufficient during the steady state operations, in a period of long-term disruption, the criteria for the best decision will change. Changes may take form of replacement or additional criteria, such as the need to utilize core competencies, neither time nor resources to build fundamentally new ones, shifting definitions and priorities within each criterion, such as the nature of value or the most important stakeholders, the relative importance of each criterion, for example, a major emphasis on the damage control required during a period of crisis. So for the past 3 slides, I think what we were trying to show here is that to see how the executive leaders are now making decisions and what kind of competencies and efficiencies they should be able to hold on given the pandemic and given the disruption doing in their enterprise business. So even in the workplace design, changes is happening right now. The post-COVID workspace, while not necessarily provocative, will be anything but business as usual. Speculation about what it will entail, well, how, in terms of the workplace design changes, are also making sure that suggestions range from voice-activated elevators to sneeze guards at every desk. From windows you can actually open to more outdoor gathering spaces and fewer conference rooms. And everyone seems to agree that air filtration systems will be greatly improved by incorporating fresh air rather than simply circulating stale air. Technology will be a big driver to the new office. To make workspace as touchless as possible, companies will allow employees to control doors, lighting, audio, and visual equipment, and even maybe coffee makers with their smartphones or their voices. So certainly there will be a lot of changes in terms of the workplace design changes as part of efficiency of an organization. So according to Harvard Business Review, very important to maintain the efficiency and the effectiveness of the organizations is to be able to make sure that motivators of play, purpose, and potential should always be there. Play in terms of, generating energy within the organization. Purpose is to make sure that your all employees know how to deliver the success and making sure that visibility is impact to their daily lives. And lastly, potential could decline if people can't gain access to colleagues and teach and develop them. So as mentioned, collaboration within internal is very important. It's important for leaders to remember that work can deliver a much needed boost to their teams, even when there's little choice involved in their work from home situation. The key is resisting the temptation to make work all about strict processes, or about rules and procedures. But at the same time, to be more creative in problem solving, in thinking, and making sure that we'll be able to collaborate better. Keeping the team engaged, prioritize communication. As I mentioned, there should be always clarity. Leaders should be able to create clarity. Remote employees can often feel like they're left out of the loop. So it's very important. Communication is a two-way street, and be sure to listen to any concerns employees may have. Set clear expectations. Be sure to communicate your expectation of your employees while they work from home. Employees who are aware of what their expectations will be more motivated to meet those expectations. As such, be patient and understanding with your employees. As mentioned in earlier slides, empathy and purpose is key. So encourage them to also, take a bit of paid time off once in a while during these times. Recognize good work. Recognizing and rewarding employees for their hard work is a key factor. Recognition doesn't need to be formal or grand for it to be effective. A personal thank you or message, or how you'll be able to put it online to make sure that people are aware of the success or the good work done is key to making sure that we are able to put in all our employees to boost their engagement internally. Encourage work-life balance. As a result, you should communicate to your employees the importance of creating boundaries. And also demonstrate a collaborative culture. Key to this is the technology that you're using in terms of how you'll be able to make sure that employees tend to be more engaged when they feel like they're part of a team. As a manager, it's your responsibility to make sure employees understand that even though you may not be in the office together, you're all working towards the same common goal. The digital one or two or three of this doesn't mean that you have 10, but the end point is to make sure that you're able to work on this digital DNA. The digital business strategy refresh, don't let the future market leave you behind. Very important to look at the new and key technologies. Customer focus, brand and reputation. There should definitely intense customer focus and deliver good customer experiences. Be safe and secure. How to keep your business going and our customers safe from cyber threat. Agility by design or optimize your speed, scalability, and results. Solve for one, benefit people and society universally. Of course, very important. Number 8 is diversity of skills mix. High-performing teams with deep functional expertise. And greater risk appetite, complementing strong focus on compliance. I think very important there should be, in terms of new ways of idea and looking at things on digital technology, there should be a greater risk appetite in terms of compliance. And of course, all decisions are all being made it's data driven. It's either you're using any technology, machine learning and AI, but it's very important right now that all of decisions are based on the data that you're able to receive. And if you're not able to get insights in face-to-face, very important to establish a platform that you're able to get your data from your customers, suppliers, and vendors. I think that's all. Thank you very much for the time, Benji and Trina, and for all of the people. And if you have any questions, I'm open to questions now.
Thank you very much, Hans, for a very informative presentation. We're now opening the floor for questions. Hans, while people are still typing in their questions, I do have a couple here. One is that in your presentation, you talked about continuous learning as an important element in organizations. Are there specific webinars or trainings that you would recommend to help employees deal with this organizational transformation better?
Yeah, thank you, Benji. And thank you for the one who mentioned, wrote that question. I think there's a lot in terms of the online training certification, and I encourage everyone to take a look at that, especially in the focus that you're either in sales, in marketing, or in IT, in supply chain. I think right now there's a lot online in LinkedIn or in other platform, or even like POWERinU that provide a lot of certification, consulting, and training. I think it's very important that we retool ourselves. We upskill ourselves. There's a lot of data and the information online right now. I suggest you be able to do this, which will add up as well to of course, to your CVs and to your learning. And right now, if you are not a bit digital savvy, very important to understand how all of these are working online and be able to make sure that you're able to get to finish this and get a certification.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Hans. We have a question here from Alejandro de la Cruz. What is the biggest challenge in talent management in this digital age?
I think there's a lot because right now, in terms of talent management, there are new roles, there are new positions. Then a lot of roles are also not there in the organization right now. So in terms of talent management, there's a lot of new roles, but there's not much talent in the market, especially on this digital age, as you have asked. Because of the new roles and new positions, we need to either retool ourselves or align curriculums of schools and universities to the new technologies and the new roles that are needed by the organizations right now. A lot of the industries that are, especially in tourism and then and maybe in hotel entertainment, are furloughed right now, but they need to retool themselves and see the opening in healthcare and information and at the same time, a lot, especially in information and management and digital transformation. So the talent management is that we have new roles, but the talent is it's very scarce in the market right now.
Good, thank you very much. Here's another question, this time coming from Jerry Bonifacio. For companies or industries who are very traditional in nature, such as manufacturing, construction, these are examples of such traditional companies or industries, how do you convince and shift the mindset of the stakeholders to make the organization digitally ready?
Yeah, good question, Jerry. I think I had a talk a few months back on Philippine Construction Association, and because of the demand of the market to continue the construction, for example, industry and even manufacturing, they are now compelled to embrace technology because they need to meet as project teams. They need to set up their in-house project teams in certain areas and how they'll be able to communicate. So they are, I think, slowly but surely, manufacturing, construction are embracing technology like BIM in construction, manufacturing, automation of a lot of their businesses right now because they can only have 30 or 40% of their workers go in their factories. So definitely they're compelled to embrace technology because, as mentioned, time needs it and necessity for them to do it.
Okay, there you go. The last two questions, I'm going to build on that because since the pandemic started, we've had more and more students actually joining us on our webinar. So I'm sure one of the questions that on their mind, particularly those that are perhaps on their last year prior to graduation in the universities and colleges, what do you, and I guess this relates also to the business that Asia Select is in. What do you see as what does the future hold for this upcoming batch of graduates in terms of employment, in terms of, I guess, business for those who would like to go into entrepreneurship?
There's a lot of opportunity, actually, to be honest. You just have to make sure that you will be able to learn all what's happening right now in the pandemic. What are the challenges of our conglomerates or organization, and what are they doing? You have to really observe and see how they are, who are the organizations that will come up after this pandemic. And for the graduates, very important to really to be able to have a digital lifestyle and understand how all of this social media, how you'll be able to use technology for you to move forward, especially entrepreneurship. If you will set up your startup organization right now, online payments and an interactive website are key for you to be able to put up your products and solutions without even seeing your customers, but be able to have a online presence, online payments. All of your products are seen virtually. Is very important how you'll be able to do that. But I think very important thing is really to look at how organizations right now, after this pandemic, who will be on top and who will survive and be able to create a platform that for long term, they'll be able to be successful. Those are the things you need to observe and see what they have done in their organization.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I think I'm afraid that's all the time we have right now for Q&A. Thank you once again, Hans, for the opportunity, for the knowledge that you have shared with us this evening. I'm sure a lot of people have really found it very valuable. Thank you for joining us, and we do hope that you'll join us again for another interesting topic in November 3 in our next webinar. Thank you very much, and good night.